Hey everybody, I'm Chris with Quilter Labs, and today I'm going to walk you through our block series amplifiers, starting with the 101 Reverb 101. It's the most basic, simple, single channel, knock yourself out, plug your guitar in, and have a good time amplifier. Gain, limiter, bass, mid, treb, has a reverb and a master volume, so it lets you set your tone up and get exactly what you need without a lot of fuss or complication. It has an effects send and effects return, so you can get that studio quality effects loop going on with your system, and it has a 1/4 inch headphone output, so you can plug in your headphones, unplug the speakers. It's safe to do that, go for it, and have a good time. On the back of the 101 Reverb, we have a basic IEC connector. It's the same thing that you use for your computers, for just about everything nowadays. So if you happen to lose your cable and you're at the club, just go steal the cable off the booking agent's computer and he won't know how much he was supposed to pay you. Knock yourself out. Has dual speaker outputs, so plug that first cabinet in, and then don't be afraid to plug that second cabinet in, because this puppy here can handle it. All right, moving on from there, we have the 202. You might notice the 101 and 202 are slightly different size because the 202 packs a serious 200-watt punch. Similar to the 101, kind of being the bigger brother, gain, limiter, bass, mid, treb, reverb, and master, but we actually have 3 different voicings. Now, check me out. The FR mode stands for full range frequency response. That's for you modelers out there. It does more than just play a clever trick of the EQ though. It actually changes the output impedance of the speakers from a high output impedance, low damping factor, typical of tube amplifiers. Come on guys, we're famous for making amps that sound like tube amps. To a low output impedance, high damping factor, ordinary solid state amplifier. Perfect for those of you who are using cabinet simulated modelers. If you flip that switch to the middle, boom, output impedance shoots high, we got that low damping factor, and we have an amplifier that then sounds like a magical tube amp. In full Q, the big difference is that bass, mid, and treb are all active, boost and cut. If we flip that over to vintage, we have a typical Fender traditional tone stack. In the Fender tone stack, that means the bass and mid are passive, bass and treble EQs are passive. The mid remains active because if you ever played on an old Fender, that mid knob never worked anyway, so we figured let's just make it work right. Okay, effects loop just like the 101 Reverb, and in this particular case we have a signal output. I just ran that cable. Traditional Fender amp. Okay, we have an effects send and an effects return, and then we have a signal output that allows you to set up not only headphones, but I can flip that switch and I have a pre-output that is cabinet simulated. This is what you can plug in and run a 1/4 inch tip ring sleeve to an XLR cable, plug that right into the mains, and away you go. You have a fantastic sound without using an XLR. For those of you who want exactly that sound that just came out of the speakers of my amplifier, on the back end here you'll actually notice there's an XLR connector. That XLR connector takes a tap off of the output of the speakers themselves. Now we also have an IEC connector, but you'll notice this bad boy over here is blue. That's because it's a locking connector. There's a little yellow tab that locks in place. So this is really kind of your high-end professional, bigger brother again to the 101 Reverb that gives you up to a full 200 watts. I mean, come on, think about that. That's like Marshall major power. And technically this is a 400 watt amp that we limit to 200 watts, so we can recreate the voltage overshoot that traditional tube amplifiers can. Booyah! All right, on to the OverDrive 202. It's a little bit different than the Tone Block 202. The OverDrive 202 does really 2 things for you. It's really for the person who's after that serious overdriven tone. You're the Dumble players, you're the Marshall players, you're the Mesa Boogie players. You really want to kick that game up, dime that thing out, and really injure small farm animals at a short distance. This is your amplifier right here. Check it out. Okay, and it actually works just fine at lower volumes too, just so you know. All right. Over here we have basically our drive channel, which is just simple, gain, limiter, and master. All we're really setting up in this particular case is the ability to turn that overdrive on. On the other side here is gain, bass, mid, treb, reverb, and then our master volume. So then we can set ourselves a nice clean signal using our full featured side, and then we can just dime that gain out and reduce that master volume so that we can get the tone that we're after and balance between that left and right channel. Somewhere over here hiding from me is a tiny little button that will allow me to switch that, or I can plug in my RJ45 connector in the back to my UFC 3, check that out online as well, and then I can control the 3 channel switching, boost, and reverb using that pedal. Similar to the Tone Block 202, there's 3 different voices, but none of these are FR mode because you want this amplifier to do the gain for you, not your modeling amplifier. So you're gonna pick 1 or 2 or 3 of the voices that are available to you there. From your input, it's gonna have an effects send and effects return, just like the Tone Block 202, and a signal out that's very similar again to the Tone Block 202. It allows you to run in headphone mode with cap simulated output to your headphones, so it sounds like you're plugged into a speaker, even if you're not plugged into a speaker. And we have line. So line is just the ability to send that signal into a balanced input into your board, go direct into that board and make a fantastic noise. Again, dual speaker outputs, just like the Tone Block 202. This one has no XLR. We expect that you're really gonna want that cap simulation, so that's what we gave you in the SIG out right on the front. And with that, every one of your Quilter Block Series amplifiers works with any one of our block docked speakers, including our custom shop selection if you check out our custom shop. All right, with that said, all of you have a good day, good night, happy picking, and may the tone be with you.